Hi, I'm Don, and this is The Hobbyist Geek. Welcome back, y'all. Today we are doing part 2 of the book Nook titled Secret Valley of the Magical Rings, a very clear Lord of the Rings ripoff, and it's been very cool so far. Last time around, we were able to get halfway through the instructions, so I fully anticipate we're going to be able to finish the piece today, but that's not going to happen unless we get back into building. So let's do that. All right, we're going to kick things off with what you see here. We have A1. This is the other side of our Nook. Make sure you're working on the side that's got the blank space at the bottom. We have P5. This is the single LED light string. And we're going to take E5 here. We're going to place it in like this. Bring it up and then fold the light over the front. Just like that. And then we're going to take this and we're going to stick it right into these two holes right there. There we go. Look at that. Now we're going to bring our cable over. We're going to use E3 here to hold it in place right there. So bring this in. Just like this. We'll just push this down. All right, should look like this when you're done. Very nice. Now we're going to bring out this assembly right here that we did at the end of part 1. We've got 2 tabs right here and 2 slots right here. Bingo, look at that. Now, bringing out this assembly, also from the end of part 1. And there are a huge amount of tabs along the back. And those are all going to go all through here. Make sure you don't pinch your cable when doing so. All right. Look at that. That looks spectacular. All right, let's see what's next. All right, for this next section, this is what you'll need. We'll start with I6 here and I5. Basically, these 2 slots will go onto these 2 tabs, just like this. There you go, just like that. And I4 will go on the other side. Just like that. Now what we're going to do is take A10 here, and that's going to go, this little tab right here will go into this slot right here. There we go, just like that. And then we have these 4 tabs here, which will go into these 4 slots. Make sure when you're doing this, your cable is coming straight down. It doesn't get pinched underneath, okay? What's more is this is going to be wider than this. So these are going to bend out slightly to accommodate it. That's what it's supposed to do. That's why that's there. So let's go ahead and get this in, and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, look at that. Beautiful. Now with that in place, I'm going to take A9 here, and that's going to glue right about here-ish. So let me go ahead and get that glued in, and I'll be right back. All right, look at that. Awesome. All right, for this next bit, we have a little fun assembly here. We have H1 We have I3 and A8. Now, effectively what you're going to do here is you're going to take this, you're going to glue it right here, like so. You're going to glue it right in there like so. Then you've got this, which will glue right about here, just like that. This curved bottom matches the wavy design there, so it should be fairly easy to get it in. And then this will glue on right about here. So let me glue all of this in place, and I will show you what the final product looks like. Alrighty, and it should look a little something like that when you are done. Awesome. Okay, now before we get started in the next step, I'm going to do something that is completely optional. And in fact, this is not in the instructions anywhere, but I'm going to do it anyway. Basically, what I'm going to do here is take this piece, which is F10. We're going to apply some grass to it. Like I said, this is not in the instructions at any point, but I want to get it done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some glue and I'm just going to put a very, very light coating along it. I'm going to do my best not to get any grass inside those holes or on the tab here, but it's just going to be a light coating of grass for visual effect here. It's not like I'm piling it up to the point where it needs to be done. But once we get that glue on there, then take the grass and a pinch in your fingers and just kind of sprinkle it down for a nice even coating. So let me go ahead and get that done. We'll see how it looks. All right, I actually really like how that looks. We'll have to wait for the glue to dry to see it fully, but for now, I think it looks pretty good. In the meantime, we can take H2 here, and that'll go into this hole right here. Yeah, I want to get this in before the glue fully dries, just in case I got some in the holes and it'll prevent it from going in later. Then we're going to take H4 here, and that will go in that center hole right there. And H3 for this hole on the far end, with B9 going into that hole right there in the middle. All right, and it should look like that when you're done. All right. All right, next up, we're gonna take E2 here, F17, and that tab will go into that hole. And we're gonna follow it up with D17 here on the other side. And you should absolutely pay attention to where the painted sides are. So unpainted here, painted here. All right. Now we're going to bring this out, and there are 3 holes here, and we have us D4, and that will go into those 3 holes. You are going to have to curve it a little bit to make it fit. Should look like that when you're done. Now, much later in the instructions, that grass that we just put on here, you're going to have to do it on here in exactly the same way. I don't see why we shouldn't do that now. Just need a way to prop this up, and we'll glue that in. So let me get that done, and I'll be back to show you what it looks like. All right, look at that. I really like the way that turned out. That looks wonderful. And with that in place, what we're going to want to do here is take this assembly, and we've got 2 tabs on the back that'll go into these 2 holes right here. So let's make that happen. All right, perfect. And that, my friends, is where this will come in. And that big tab right there will go into that slot right there. Just like that. And it looks like we have us a little hobbit hole. Almost like the Shire sits below Rivendell or something. But that looks wonderful. All right, let's see what's next. Alrighty, next up, we're going to take F24 here, and that tab is going to go into that slot right there. So let's get that in. All right, look at that. Okay. Now this is going to be fun. We've got our tower that we built in our last episode. We've got a tab here and a tab here. Those are going to go into this hole and that hole. And you're going to want to put some glue around to help secure the connection. So let me go ahead and make that happen, and I'll show you what it looks like. Alrighty, look at that beauty. Next up, we have D6. There's a tab on the back and a little hole right there. So let's just pop this thing in, just like that. Wonderful. All right, next up, we're going to take I11 here and this assembly. This is assembly M. You can see we've got all these posts on the bottom, and we've got all these holes right there for them to go into. So let's go ahead and make that happen. All right, look at that. Now you can see we've got these 4 holes here. That will be for the tabs on the bottom of assembly N here. So let me get that in, and look at that. This little chain here came off, so I'm gonna have to fix that too. So let me go ahead and make this happen, and I will be right back. Alrighty, there we go, got it in, got it fixed. Beautiful. Alright, now with that in place, we're gonna bring this puppy back out. We've got these 2 slots there. That will be where these 2 tabs go. Now you see this little slot right here? That is where this cable is going to go through. So make sure you line that up properly and don't pinch the cable. And it should look like that when you're done. Now, let's see what's next. All right, next up, we have F25 and F21, and they're gonna have to glue together. You're gonna wanna make sure that this edge and this edge align. So, it should look like this when you're done. So let's go ahead and get those glued in. All right, and with this in place, you're going to want to glue this assembly down here. Now, right on this edge will be where this lines up. So it will not come all the way to the end of this, okay? I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing this is going to be a tab into the other side, and you don't want to block it. So be very careful in your alignment here as well. Let's go ahead and get some glue in there and make that happen. Okay, so it should look a little something like that when you're done. Okay, then we'll let this dry for a little bit before moving on. All right, for this next bit, it's going to be fun. Basically, we're going to take the chain railing that we made, the extra one, and that's going to go from here to here, just like we did in the last episode. And then we have A13 here, which is going to slide right in here, and we're going to have to glue it down to kind of finish off these steps. So let me get that in, and then I can show you what the alignment's going to be. Alrighty, so for this piece right here, A13, looks like this edge is going to line up with this post, okay? And then of course you want it to be as even as possible, so use the brick lines here to line it up all the way through, and it will line up on this edge flush. So there is a little bit of a lip here, but not here. Okay? And as you can see, I was also able to get this chain in place as well. So this is ready to rock and roll and looking wonderful, and we can move on. All right, this next section should be fun. We have H8 and H7, and you'll notice one side has an angled cut and one side has a flat cut. It's almost impossible to tell in the instructions which side goes where, but I'm going to take my best guess based on what I see, and it looks like the angled side faces the rear wall here, and the flat is going to go into our dragon. We'll find out soon enough. H8, the short one here, angled side facing the wall, is going to go into this hole up here. H7, angled side facing the wall, is going to go into this hole right here. So it should look like that. And if it's all good, these posts should fit into these holes. Let's see if it does. And it does not. So let me try it the other way. Flat ending. There we go. Okay. Flat end towards the back wall, angled end into our dragon. Man, I wish those instructions had been more clear. I really do. But it's in now, and really looks pretty good. Actually, I like it. All right, let's see what's next. All right, next up, we have two of these B10s. Those little pegs there are going to go into these two holes right there and there. So let's get those in. There you go, just like that. And now we've got these two holes here and here, and that is where this peg and this peg are going to go. And you'll notice there's a little slot here. That is for this cable, okay? This cable will still be loose coming down the front side. So let's go ahead and get it all in and lined up and go from there. All right. Wow-wee. All right, in this shadowed corner here, That is probably the hardest part to get to line up when you're doing this, but I managed to get it in. Now you'll notice there's a little gap here where this little stair is. That's because there's nothing holding this in, so it's leaning back a little bit. It'll line up once the other pieces are in, but this is what we've got so far, and man, does that look good. All right, let's see what's next. Alrighty, here's what we'll need for the next part. We're gonna kick things off with P8. This is the circuit board LED. And P7, which is the cable for it. We'll just go ahead and pop those together if you haven't already. Okay, now we're going to take H9 here. We're going to set this in so that the cable is coming through that hole there. So it should go like this. And we're going to hold it in place with 2 of these E4 pieces. All right, there we go, just like that. All right, with that in place, what we're going to do is we're going to take 2 of these E6s and we're going to place them like this so that the short side is facing towards, I'm guessing that's the front. All right, so we got it like this, and then on this front side we have C3 with these little posts here going through the holes on either side. So it should look like that when you are done. All right, now we're going to pull out C1 here. This brown side is the top, okay? And what we're going to do, somehow, I see what I did something wrong here. These are supposed to actually come in from the top. That's okay. We'll just pull them out and then flip the sides just like this. Okay. Now when you get these corrected, they're going to go into these holes here. So let me go ahead and make that happen and I'll show you what the final result is. All right, that looks better. So now we've got that in here. We've got this nice little barrier going on right there. And that would be the top. All right, let's see what's next. All right, y'all, the gloves have come out. Not sure how I feel about this next part, but is what it is. We're gonna bring our mirror out and we're going to want to peel the film off of the mirrored edge. Just like that. Now, with this mirrored edge available, we're actually going to be gluing things to it. I know, weird, right? You've got F12 here. And you've got C8. And you're going to want to glue them about like so. Obviously there's no guide or anything. So best guess is all you can do, and we're going to want to glue those in right about there. So let me go ahead and make that happen. Alrighty, should be about like that. Make sure it's the side with the notch on top where you're putting your clouds. Man, I hope I got that good. Now we're going to set that to the side for the moment and let it dry. We're going to bring out this. And we're going to have to peel the film off. I don't know if it's one side or both. So let me see what I can do here about getting this film off. And I will let you know. Alrighty, well the film was on both sides. So very cool. All right, what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring this out again. And we're looking at the front. There are 2 tabs on either side and a longer flat here than here. The longer flat goes towards the back. These tabs will go into these slots. So let's make that happen. There we go, just like that. And then we're gonna bring out this assembly. I'm gonna flip it over, make sure the light is actually in the back of it. And the tabs on the sides should all line up. And we'll push those in to lock it all in place. Alrighty, look at that. And now that plastic operates as a nice little dust cover for our top. Spectacular. All right, next up, we're looking at the back side of the model here. We're gonna bring out our mirror. We'll flip this over so the clouds are facing the front and the mirrored side, of course, is facing the front. We're gonna take this light cable here. That's gonna go through that slot in the mirror there. And then we're just gonna set this down. Now it will rest at an angle, which is just fine. Okay, so we'll set this in. It should rest perfectly, just like this. Now this cable here, there's a little hole on the bottom. We're gonna bring this down through. There it goes. Right through there. Just like that. And now we're going to take G11. We're going to close up the back here. Look at that. Okay, and from the front, there we go. Obviously nothing's lit yet, but I can't wait till it is. This should be beautiful. All right, let's see what's next. All right, this next part will be fairly easy. We're gonna take this cable that's coming down the front. We're gonna bring it down, and there's a little slot right here. It'll just slide right in. And then we have C7 here. There's another little slot right next to it that C7 will tab into. And it should, this part anyway, go in front of this cable to help lock it in place. So let's make that happen. All right, look at that. Now comes a real fun part. We've got this. This is our vines. And basically we're gonna put glue on here much like we did with the grass. And we're gonna throw some vines on there so that they kind of hang down a little bit and cover this area. So let me go ahead and make that happen, and I'll be right back. All right, there you have it. Gotta be honest, I think I like the grass better. Maybe just a skill level thing, but there it is. Let's see what's next. All right, next up we have J1, and on the side it's got these circular templates. We're gonna wanna put our battery box through. So the cable goes first, and then you slide the battery box in. Now I'm not sure if it matters or not, but when you're looking at it at this orientation, the switch will be on the left side according to the instructions, but like I said, I don't know that it matters. In fact, there's a lot of wiggle room in here. Let me try something. I want to see if I do it this way. Yeah, that doesn't fit. So it's definitely got to be on the left or right, but we'll keep it on the left for now. And you can get the holes, the screw holes to line up. And we're gonna need 4 of the screws. I believe they're P3 screws. And there we go. Nice and screwed in. All right, next up, we're going to take our piece with all of the cables coming out the front, much like this, okay? We're going to bring them through, and this is where things are going to get a little sketchy. I'm going to try doing it this way, give myself a little more slack, but it's hard with this. The point being, all of the cables are going to have to come up, through, and these holes here and on this other side, those are for these I9 pieces that we can use as cable channel. So let me do what I can to make this neat and have all of our cables coming out the front. Alright, so this is what I've ended up with. I've left this loose because it's really already coming out the front. And then I've put some cable channel in for these three here. At this point, we can bring out our circuit board again. Let's do that. And we can get our stuff plugged in. So let me go ahead and do that as well. All right, with everything plugged in, we can bring this up, make sure this stays out the front, and all of the cables are tucked inside, and these tabs on either side will go into the bottom of the box to lock it all in place. Let's see what we can do here. All right, there we go, all locked in. And if everything has been done correctly, we can flip this thing on and give it a test. And look at that, all of the lights have come on. Wonderful. All right, let's turn this thing back off and see what's next. Alrighty, for this next section, the instructions are lying through their teeth. We're going to make another chain, much like we did for the fencing, but this one's going to hold our ring. So it would go right through the ring and just hang like this. We'd have these little rings on either end, and those rings would attach up here. Now, according to the instructions, we only need about 20 of these links here, which frankly isn't even long enough to span the distance. So what I'm gonna do is take a guess at about where I want this thing to lay. That's a bit much. And go from there. So let me measure this out, get it together, and I'll show you the end result. As for you, this is actually going to be a personal preference. This is an optional thing. You don't have to do it. And of course, how far down you want the ring to hang is also up to you. So I'll do mine and you can do yours. All right, that's what I've got. What do you think? Oh man, I think that looks great. All right, let's see what's next. All right, next up, we're gonna take our double-sided stickers here. I'm gonna pull them off, well, one of them anyway. Off of that, we're gonna put it on the back of our circuit board here. All right, now, this spot right here, that is the touch sensor. You want that touch sensor as close to this power as you can make it. So take the film off the other side and then stick it to the back of your front panel there and try to line it up as best you can with that power symbol. All right, that is where I've got mine. Pretty close in my opinion. Probably could have moved a little bit more to the right, but it should work. All right, and with that done, this is gonna be fun. Basically, what we're gonna do, pull this out. This is our dust cover. We're gonna go ahead and peel the film off of both sides. And these little tabs here, there's a slot here and a slot here for them to fit into place. And then we will take our front cover and we will place it on top. So we go ahead and make all of that happen. All right, there we go. Fully functional. Now, as it turns out, my dust cover was not actually cut properly. It's unfortunate, but I was able to kind of make it fit, but it's not perfect. Hopefully yours will be cut properly and you won't have that same issue. There's only one thing left to do, and that is on the bottom. We're gonna take I-13. Ooh, sorry, knocked the camera there. That's these 4 circles right here. And we're just gonna glue them to the bottom to make some feet. And we've got our nice little templates to show us where they'll go. So we do that, I'll let it dry, and then I will come back for some final thoughts and a showcase. And here it is, y'all. The finished product. Look at this. That is spectacular. We have our hobbit hole, our vines, the knight crossing that bridge. In the background, we have the wizard. We have whatever the heck that thing is in the hallway there. Our tower, our dragon, our ring, even the mirror for the extended experience. That is gorgeous. On the flip side, Spirit Valley of the Magic Rings, and of course a beautiful back, and another side panel there. All a gorgeous piece all around. That was fun. That was really fun. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Have a great day.